No! What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's ya boy Ro. We're here for Team Fortress TV's coverage of ESEA Season 29. We are going to be going over Froyo Black Heads Up versus Swift Gaming. It's not Swift Gaming, it's Swift NA. Something like that. I'm here with Dr. Shadow Puppet and Console the cameraman, rocking your DJ lists. Dr. Shadow Puppet, walk us through this team layout. What we got here?
Well, I don't actually have a roster page open, but it's my understanding that we've got Froyo Black, who is the brainchild of several ex-Froyotech members who are wanting to possibly unseat the throne of Froyotech themselves, and Swift Gaming, who they've been around for a couple seasons now and have been consistently placing fairly high on the rankings.
Yeah, yeah. And so what's sorry,
I'm trying
I
to pull up a roster. Sorry.
gotcha. I can go through the teams real quick. We saw Froyo Black earlier this week. We know Shade. He's separated himself from the Freyotech mother and is drinking of the sweet nectar that is the rest of his team, I guess is the proverbial layout of Froyo Black's, structure. But on Froyo Black, aside from Shade the medic, we've got Bedonsky making a comeback on demo. He's always been there, he just took a season off. Marmalou and Garbuglio, the soldiers, and Yomps and Corsa on scout, rocking that Froyo Black roster.
And rounding out for Swift NA, we've got Zilly rocking medic Delpo bringing up the sticky bombs on Demo Man, bot mode and Laz, dive bombing into the enemy backlines on Soldier, and high five and Slemish getting lead shots all day on the scout roll.
Yeah, it's gonna be a banger because we're playing on Product. Viaduct Pro, none of that snow crap causing us lag and all that other nonsense. Couple adjustments here and there with clipping issues, and we've got yourself, a decent DM fest of a map. And that's where a lot of these players are gonna be, outside of the normal competing in TF2. This is where they're gonna be competing using their aim above all else. Maybe a couple tactics too.
Well, there's actually I think that that's almost like a misnomer from the past. It's true that Viaduct used to just be these DM brawl fests that all that really mattered was how many kills you could get, and we saw like the likes of YZ50 dropping. I think he got 58 flags in one game, and some other just truly phenomenal performances in the DM department. And I will say that I still think it's true that DM is super important on this map. Probably more so than other maps, but tactics really have evolved over the seasons. We saw the fade in and fade out of the forward hold, and now forward hold only in certain situations. The the back and forth play over point, the knowing when to dive bomb, the delaying for medic spawns, all sorts of things that really do add this tactical layer to the map. That if you're a team that can't hold up to the DM, there is still your opportunity to make the tactical outplay. That being said, at the end of the day, the team with most players on the field is going to be able to control the area. So it's really going to be up to the performance of both teams' DM classes to really put forward the effort.
Yeah, I think you wrapped it up very nicely in that last line. The idea is if you don't have the numbers to make a play, you're going to be stuck in those waiting periods, in the product ebb and flow where you're waiting for your respawns, hiding out in your spawn, hiding out near the front lines, trying to clear out a way for Cliff. Every one or two frags that you lose, any players you lose from your team, are going to just completely slow down the game for you, make it harder for you to initiate, and that's always going to contribute to the constantly changing Uber charges. So we'll
Yeah.
hopefully see some good plays during those downtimes to alleviate some advantages. Get some medic drops. Maybe I'm spelling a medic drop this map. I don't know about you.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is if there's one map that's almost guaranteed to give us at least one drop, it's going to be Viaduct. Yeah, I really do think this is going to come down to how on players like High Five, players like Yamps and Forza, how on they are, and how able they are to convert those frags. But also important is not bleeding your players. If I had to point out one thing that consistently ruins a team's chances at either making a comeback or holding a point, it's executing an excellent push and then bleeding all of your players at the end. And it doesn't matter how good your push was, if you've capped the point and you've got a 20-second spawner on half your team, and the enemy team just pushes in with a better respawn time, you're not going to ever hold the point.
That's exactly right. It's come down to a science here in Viaduct over the many years, waiting for your team to get that first respawn wave because of the way King of the Hill works, as you may or may not be aware, to you chat viewers out there. If you've got the point, your respawn timer will be a lot longer. So what teams will usually do is after a push, if they lost like 2 or 3 players, but like wiped, maybe killed all but one player on the enemy team, they're gonna wait on capping because as long as they have some cap time, it's never gonna, they're not gonna lose the round in overtime or anything like that. They're gonna wait for their respawns and then cap it off so that the enemy team has the worst spawn wave. And so we're going to be seeing a lot of that potentially in some of these back and forth exchanges. But we've got all 12 in server. Dr. Shadowpuppet predictions. We've talked a lot about who these players are, what this map is. Who do you think is going to be on top in this match? Because
See, this is so hard for me because I haven't seen how either of these teams are playing this season. There's been a little bit of shifting in rosters, and of course, FROYOBLACK's just a brand new team. I will say that I do like the odds for FROYOBLACK just a little bit better here. It's all going to depend on the consistency, like I said, and how well they're able to hit their shots. But medics like Shade and demos like Vidonsky just give you this excellent core to work off of. And if last season is anything to go off of, Marmaloo is going to be an absolute monster. So I'm really interested to see how FROYOBLACK executes and is able to perform and keep together on a map like Viaduct. SVIFT has a little bit more time together, and they do have some really strong DMers, but I feel that a couple of their players can be hot and cold, and it's going to depend on whether or not they're hot tonight. So I think that if these guys were going to play 400 rounds of Viaduct, I would have to give it to FROYOBLACK, where they would be able to just edge it out. So I'm going to give it to them. I would say 4-2.
4-2 on the FROYOBLACK.
But I would not be surprised.
I'm feeling right there with it. Yeah.
Like it would not shock me at all if High Five just shows up to every mid round and kills everybody over and over again. So
and you can't sleep on Laz either. Every time I've seen Laz on Viaduct, he's always performed phenomenally. And so I think on that note, we're going to be going live. We're waiting for the respawns and the green text that says match is live. But right off the bat, I'm just going to say I want to watch Laz's first mid. I'm hoping, we'll get the shot of the demos, getting their first chip shots. But I want to immediately go to Laz because he's known for getting behind, landing on China, doing all kinds of shenanigans.
And I had forgotten that Shade doesn't own a metagun. He's running first mid. But we do see FROYOBLACK taking a fairly defensive position, waiting for the bombers of SVIFT to come in before counterbombing himself. A lot of damage going up. Yams takes the first kill, and Garblugo soon after.
And right away, FROYOBLACK definitely in command of this mid. Immediately taking a lot of high ground too, but they did lose Shade overall in the exchange. Yeah. Shade was killed by Laz, who was the player to look out for. He immediately went as deep as he could, kind of clipped the wall and had to grab a health pack, but he did manage to get that Shade frag. And right now, High Five also going down is not a good thing for SVIFT as they're trying to create some room with this Uber.
It's actually okay for SVIFT here to lose High Five. They have the shorter respawn. It's going to allow them to put some pressure down. Here comes the Uber right now. Actually, Delpo and Slemnish pushing forward, taking out Shade immediately. That's exactly the pick that SVIFT needed to continue holding pressure on this. Losing Zilly, though, not the best. And the trades are going out fairly even across the board, but I do like the position of FROYOBLACK a little bit better, holding the point and having their demo man up and ready to put down some damage. It looks like SVIFT is going to back out and try again.
Ooh, Yumps on 1 HP picks up his 6th kill in this life. He's trying to hide, but Slemnish is going to poke him out. Oh, doesn't even get the shot. Garbuglio lands on him, takes him out. And then a follow-up onto bot mode by the cliffside. It's looking really strong for FROYOBLACK to take the forward hold at this point.
Yeah, this would be an excellent time to take a forward hold. We do see Shade has switched back to the metagun, deciding that the invulnerability is the tactical choice here. I do like this decision to forward hold. We have even Ubers and are really just going to be trying to deny bombers and deny any sort of forward pressure. Delpo on the Pyro, excellent choice here. Not a whole lot of reason not to, especially to get in and out. Maybe try to get a reflect rocket and pick up a kill, and that's exactly what happens as Laz cleans it up on Marmalou. But gets traded out immediately, and a scout fight here is really going to go in the favor of FROYOBLACK.
Viewers are getting called out, pops away right into the face of Shade, who counters immediately. The chase is coming in from Yomps, and he's not going to let it out. Shade doing a phenomenal job of locking in Zilly. Zilly going to give his best dance, but can't survive. Yomps going to be going straight in away. He's not afraid. Finally gets cleaned up here. 3 fall to the hands of Swift, including Shade getting pistoled down by Slemnish. So now the point is open for business, and Laz keeping a forward reign on the cliffside with that cow mangler. Going to have to rotate back just for now. Bot mode also on that cow mangler.
Yeah, FROYOBLACK did a really good job of counter-Ubering there and having a solo Uber, but unfortunately the rest of their team got pushed back and damaged heavily, and they had no flank control when they were that far pushed up, losing absolutely everybody. We see a couple trades and picks going back and forth. FROYOBLACK's trying to make some space here while they... oh, Shade getting the pick on the Laz. That's kind of nice. I'm liking how Swift is trying to push back FROYOBLACK, but they've bled a lot of players here, and there's not going to be a whole lot there to defend against when FROYOBLACK starts pushing forward. And that's exactly what's happening here. Swift happened to give up a lot of space on this point.
Ooh, what a fat bomb from Marmalou, getting a ton of damage, and a follow-up shot from Corsa. Leaping forward, grabs that 20 damage chip shot. He'll get away with it too. Yomps trying to navigate his way around this China. A follow-up bomb comes in from bot mode trying to set pace, but no one else is there to follow up with him. They're going to have to wait for their heals if they want to go for another suicide attempt, get deep, try and get onto Shade, who's sitting comfortable with his full Uber charge at the moment.
Yeah, this is an excellent position for FROYOBLACK here. Playing it nice and slow, nice and safe. They're going to accept Swift into them here, but picking up 2 immediately might signal a push forward, and it does. See if they can try to get Zilly here. Killing Zilly would mean an excellent pick there from Corsa onto Zilly. That's going to mean an Uber for free, essentially, for FROYOBLACK. And they're just going to be able to be free to clean up, and they only have 5 seconds left on the clock.
And Delpo very desperate to get behind, try to make it to the point. Could not stick around for long because the scouts were chasing him down. And no cap time means Blue takes the first round. FROYOBLACK in the lead. Very commanding start.
Yeah, they're. I do feel like just the calmness with which they held the point, the command they had over the flow of the game, really speaks to the experience level of Shade and the rest of his team.
Once again, seeing kind of a different mid actually. Garbuga tried to get in, got a little bit of an air time there. Marmalou though setting the pace with an early frag onto the medic, just under that little bridge thing in main. The rest of the Swift crew, however, have cleaned house. It's a full wipe, only losing Laz as well as Zilly early on in the first fight. And we're going to be seeing a very passive kind of defense here. Delpo's going to be putting stickies in various places and potentially grabbing some players. But FROYOBLACK almost not even going near that side of the map. They're just pushing straight up from their left side.
Yeah, no reason to mess around with those sticky traps. Right now, they're just trying to put down some pressure, see if they can convert a couple picks. Actually, Shade does commit. Let's see if, because now they've lost 3 players, it's going to be up to Shade to try to get out. It is 3v5. They do have a roaming soldier coming around behind them. A nice pick from Corsa on the lab, and no follow-up aggression from Swift is going to mean that Shade can just kind of hang back and leave. That's kind of a mistake, I think, from Swift, who had the opportunity to really put the pressure down and pick out Shade.
Fast bomb from Marmalou, just gets a little bit of pressure here. High five gonna get cleaned up here by Garbuglio and Yomps. Follow-up chase comes in from Yomps, who's just dancing around it. Benanti grabs a nice little pipe onto Delpo. The rest of Swift have retreated just a bit. Uber's ready on both sides, but the numbers is far greater on FROYOBLACK's hand. They're gonna get it aggressive here, and Marm drops Zilly. I don't know what positioning he was going for there, but he just got dumpster and didn't really see it coming.
I think when she got bombed, I think she got rocket, like the sync rocket, where both of them hit you at the same time. Garbuglio did a really good job there in converting that pick. It's going to allow FROYOTECH to take the point. They only have about 30 seconds until they've evened up the times, and they had enough players up to execute a forward hold here, and they're executing it really well. They're backing up here as they take damage and lose a player, but then they're reapplying the aggression as soon as they can. Just an absolute meat grinder in the chokes here as Garbuglio, Corsa, and Yomps all pick up kills. And now it's just Zilly and the spawners kind of up here. I'm liking the time wasting here that FROYOBLACK is doing. They're not allowing any space to be taken. They're going to make... Oh, and Zilly commits without Uber and without any hope of getting out. Dies for her effort. And Shade is still up, building up a nice new Uber. The flank from SVIFT is far behind, but not a whole lot they're going to be able to do about getting on the FROYOBLACK medic. SVIFT has taken position, but I do not like their position in the game here, where they're starting to bleed more and more time and are not building Uber fast enough.
Yeah, well said. If you like their position, but not in the game. A lot of collapsing here from FROYOBLACK, putting so much pressure onto SVIFT. Zilly dancing for his life here, does manage to get a little bit of help from bot mode and Slemnish taking it away. Laz drawing some players behind as well. Gonna definitely drag this out a little bit longer to create room for SVIFT as they've taken control of the point here. Corsa keeping up the aggression, and Garbuglio trying to initiate here, gets cleaned up here by Slemnish. Corsa just weaving in and out of this point. The cap will finally, thankfully, go off, and Laz managed to snake his way back to the point with full health to boot. And now FROYOBLACK wants to commit to this. They're going to be popping right away. Badonsky leading the Uber, getting some stickies behind the enemy, but can't catch any players. And Marmalou will go for a desperate bomb over the top. He does manage to connect a couple rockets, does pick up Delpo, a demo man. Definitely a good frag to be sure. But SVIFT are now collapsing. They have so low health, and Zilly is so far away. Yomps is on the chase. He's going into the last. Excuse me, not really last. It's the spawn. But Zilly makes it out cleanly. Time's ticking away. They do get the cap. 60 seconds on the clock. Small ad for Zilly.
Yeah, the collapse potential here from FROYOBLACK. They grouped up, got their crit buffs, and they just absolutely destroyed every player one by one. And that's the kind of play that FROYOBLACK is really commanding this game with. They are a little far up, getting a little caught out by the Uber, but they were able to pop it super fast. Shade is getting out. I want to see FROYOBLACK maybe even try to convert a pick or two, but then fold here and let SVIFT take the point and regroup with themselves. Oh, Shade did have Uber, but then he dropped Delta. I didn't see the Uber there, but does not matter. It's immediately taken to 0. And now SVIFT's in a really good position. They're going to have a massive Uber advantage, probably about 55%. And FROYOBLACK's on the back foot. But a minute and a half is a long time to hold this point. And at 8 seconds, essentially all Froyo has to do is give one good push that ends in a wipe, and they have the round.
And they're actually going to commit to this. It looks like they're not waiting for Uber or pussyfooting around with time. They just want to fight, yo. And Marmalou immediately bombs in with Garbuglio throwing some extra rockets. Laz going to get the better of it, though, with the help of Delpo. They're going to be keeping some pressure on this point. Yomps going to be getting into a 1v1 with Slemnish. Takes him down. A follow-up from Marm tries to get onto Zilly. He surfs away comfortably. Badonsky now rotating over to the cliff. He's trying to make sure no players get too far forward. But SVIFT are playing it safe. They don't need to overextend. They know, they see the numbers. They're like, let's just keep it to the point. They have to come to us. Delpo's got just enough range with his traps to make something happen here. But he does detonate. And Corsa now making a great leap across the cliffs. Makes it all the way to the other side as once again Marmalou initiates and gets the drop onto Zilly with rockets from above. It's too much for Zilly, and SVIFT are crumbling once again.
The excellent pickoff on Shade, though, but I'm just not sure it's going to matter. High Five is not going to be able to hold this point all on his own, and SVIFT is starting to get the respawn, but FROYOBLACK still has the better respawn timer, and they're going to cap it here with just a few seconds left to go, send bot mode back. And now we're just going to have a dry fight here. Neither team is going to have Uber, and both teams are just, whoever wins the DM fight here essentially wins the round. Corsa picking up Slemnish, Laz getting a double kill onto Garbuglio Yomps, and then a third onto Corsa. Laz going absolutely massive. This is exactly what SVIFT needed here. And it looks like they're going to take out this round. And a mid-air air shot from Zilly getting back on Shade there.
Oh, that was just so excellent from SVIFT there. They kept their composure. they managed to somehow avoid taking too much damage from the sacks that were coming in from the soldiers. And as a result, they were able to just get some fat damage from Laz through that connector and just clean house at the end.
Yeah, that was an excellent push there from Swift. An excellent fight. Let's see if they can continue the momentum, and let's see if either of these two medics has found Mouse 2 again.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing, you know. It's the reflex. You just don't want to click your middle finger for some reason, you know. FROYOBLACK not really getting a lot of room here. Garbuglio getting a better hold on that connector here. A bomb comes in from Marmalou, who's cleaned up. And now the follow-up is from Laz, who's behind. He's going to be jumping up top, lands right into the face of Shade, knocks him at 35 HP, but he gets back to the cliff pack, and right into the face of Bot Mode, who gets completely Goomba'd. And then followed up with a clean shot from Corsa, who's now making his way to the point here. He's got to get the shots onto Slemnish, but Slemnish and crew are getting the cap. The Uber gets popped off. They're chasing it down. Shade drops his teammate, but does have the Uber, so he's going to get ready to pop back in. He's trying to dance his way around this. The players are now getting in their composure. They're no longer out of control here, but Laz is behind. Gonna get some early shots here. One more Rocky could do it, but no. Finally, the pressure comes in. Bot Mode bobs in. Does get that force. Shade preemptively popping to avoid it. And now Swift are backing out. Some advantage to speak of, but it's gonna take about 16 seconds to build it up.
Yeah, if you're Shade in that situation, you do not want to have to pop that Uber. Zilly popped first, meaning his Uber was much worse. And if Shade can manage to hold on to Uber, back out, and not lose too many players, it's okay to bleed a scout, it's okay to bleed a soldier, because you're going to have the 100% ad and come back to the point. Now we see Swift trying to push out here. Delpo blocking the Pyro, does get taken out eventually. And one trade apiece here. Actually, FROYOBLACK loses a second member on Garbuglio. But that's okay for them. They just need to... Oh, they keep bleeding now. That's down. Now they're down 3, and the hold is looking harder and harder. Shade is 75%, and Zilly is at 100. Let's see if Swift can try to get onto Shade here before we get through.
I don't think it's going to happen because they're only just now getting to the front lines at 90% on Shade. The respawns are also up for FROYOBLACK. They're getting into position here. Garbuglio taking a little bit of ground on the connector. Shade's following closely. Zilly pops off, and the players are starting to flood in. But Swift are not in the best position. They're going to have to split because it's been a parting of the red team through FROYOBLACK as they slice their way through the midpoint. And there it is, Marmalou jumping around, pulling some players' attention. Shade keeping a little bit of aggression here on the cliff, following his players. They didn't even pick up Marmalou, which is going to be key here. But once again, they need something to initiate Laz or potentially Bot Mode to just bomb in, pull some eyes, and then keep the aggression forward with their players. Delpo on the left side here trying to clear some stickies over the top. He does hit up Podolsky a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. Swift just tiptoeing onto this point here, not doing enough. And it's just like a weird dance. And Marmalou has been allowed to respawn and immediately jump into the face of Zilly. This is a mistake. They're waiting for these pushes to like initiate. They're waiting for an opening, and it's causing the respawns to make the deciding moments there.
Yeah, I mean, Marmalou was just able to skip immediately across the point and get a nice double rocket onto Zilly. That's the excellent kind of play here that FROYOBLACK needed to hold on to their point. It was looking a little hairy for them, actually. But the splitting tactic and the aggression level is just always perfect for FROYOBLACK. We see a quick bomb in here from Laz, gets the force, but the Uber here onto Corsa is probably going to do quite a bit. Takes out Delpo, and they're going to try to put some more aggression in for Marmalou, putting in from behind, taking up Zilly. That's not a good sign. That means there will be no Ubers for Swift before they have to push in to stop FROYOBLACK from capping the point. However, Shade will also not get Uber in time, so it will be a dry fight once again.
I'm just so disappointed right now. I mean, Marmalou just has Zilly's number. It's been consistent. I think Zilly's seen the respawn timer more than he's seen the rest of his team defending him. Because that's all that I see all the time. And right now, once again, Marmalou jumps up, gets a little bit more pressure onto Delpo here, decides the target is much better suited as the demo does pick it up with a little bit of help from Garbuglio. But the scout and soldier combo on the point are leaving Shade to dry. Pistol takes him down in the end. He's going to have to work his way around. Zilly meeting up with the rest of them, and Marmalou finally getting taken down. No more free reign for you, buddy. They're going to wait for the respawn, like I said earlier, and start the cap off before that overtime goes down. But 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I don't think it can be done. FROYOBLACK can throw enough bodies to eventually get the cap once.
They don't even need to throw bodies. They just need to, just try to get the force here onto Zilly and then build up their Uber. or they can try to go for one of these force pushes that FROYOBLACK's been doing here, where Shade always seems to be able to get out. Just an absolute wizard at getting himself out of bad situations. And here comes the push forward, gets the force. Now it's up to Shade to get back. They do drop 3 for it, but it doesn't matter. Nobody can hurt you inside the respawn room. They're going to close that shutter, and they're just going to hold on back. And now we have a situation where Shade is going to have 75% Uber advantage, or 75% Uber, when Zilly has maybe 50, and I'm not sure that Swift can hold them back long enough, especially getting a player so low like that and having to back up as an entire team.
Yeah, things are looking good for FROYOBLACK to take this down. They're pushing forward with this Uber in hand. Time's getting started by Yamps, who's a little bit too far forward. Gets cleaned up by bot mode, sitting on that cliff. The cap can go off at any moment now. Laz jumps to the rescue, trying to keep some time on the point. High five stepping on it as well. The Uber is starting to fade. If they can collapse here, Delpo putting out so much damage between the stickies and the pipes. It's too much. And Corsa now trying to make one last ditch effort before getting pistoled down by High five. The respawn Yumps, though, is lurking around this point. Don't think he can get the cap off with players very desperate to stay on this. But a little bit of help from Garbuglia might work out. High five, though, gonna shut it down immediately. And now FROYOBLACK back to the drawing board. A minute to go. Earlier I said it was not looking good, but with Uber 50 seconds to go, this could work out for it. Badonsky going for a force here with a little bit of help from the rest of the bombing crew of Marm and Garbuglio. They are going to get cleaned up here. Zilly very low on health during that exchange. Going to survive, and now the decap is slowly working its way down, but now the forward spawn is, the forward hold I should say, is looking very strong for Swift.
Yeah, a fast build can get Swift to Uber before the 0-0 mark, where both teams are going to have to fight. And getting picks here as FROYOBLACK tries to push out is really good. Shade has partially committed now, and so this might just be it. Shade is rounding 85% on Uber, holding the patio position, trying to push forward and get a little damage down. Dropping Badonsky does not look good. 8 seconds left on the clock. 70% here for Zilly. Are they going to be able to get Uber? FROYOBLACK pops the Uber, pushes forward with their scouts, trying to get behind on everybody. They're committing so much to killing Zilly that they've lost 2 other players, and now a third. Corsa at 11 health finally gets taken down now to Badonsky and Shade, and Swift manages to hold on to the point. It looks like Swift almost has FROYOBLACK's number here, and has figured out their strategy of playing defensively and just allowing Swift to push into them. And they're just like, no, we're not going to make the first move. You make the first move, you make the mistake, and we will capitalize. And that's the kind of play that we really do need to see here from Swift. We see a repeat mid here, and it is again FROYOBLACK's going to pull the trigger first and jump forward, but they lose Yumps for it. Trades going off both sides. FROYOBLACK down 2, Swift down just 1, but Laz super low. Let's see what kind of pressure they can put down. Tillman jumping forward. You do not win 1v1 against Badonsky.
That was a beautiful alley-oop there. We saw first Delpo taking the sticky to Shade, launching him. Shade naturally surfs it right into the face of 2 scouts chasing down his team. And so Shade cannot escape for long, immediately gets peppered down from range. And now the cap might go off before, yes, FROYOBLACK does secure the capture, but Swift are going to almost immediately reclaim it, because this is not something FROYOBLACK can hold. They do manage to get the respawns though, so this is definitely in their area of expertise of repushing this point before there's any ground taken. And Swift are now forced back. They've bled too many players on the sidelines, and Laz might get cleaned up here. That might be a disaster. Corsa chasing down really desperately. Got to get the chip shot just as he pulls out the skill stick. And one more falls to the hand of Marmaloo. Swift, looking like they were about to retake that for free, all of a sudden find themselves back into their spawn with a small ad, but a forward-holding Froyo.
Yeah, you got to try that if you are Swift. And now they do have the ad. Let's see if they can push against it. They're going to need to go basically immediately. Shade is rounding 80%. If they can get onto the medic of FROYOBLACK and pop and kill Shade before he gets Uber, they'll be in a really good position. But they just bleed too much into the meat grinder here as Botmo, Depo, and Slemnish go down, only trading 2 for their efforts. Shade does eventually get taken out, and Zilly still has Uber. If Zilly can get out and be safe, and it looks like he is, this is a really, really good position here for Swift, but I'm concerned they have bled too much time.
Yeah, a minute 20 down the clock, pushing up the right side. They had their Uber. Currently, no one's in position to get the force out. Marmaloo is just now getting to the front lines. Garbuglio just watching connector. There it is. The bomb comes through. Marm lands immediately on Zilly. Shadow Puppet. Help me.
They like
Why?
as our esteemed colleague Eckstein might say, and I actually have a shirt with this on it: "Pop it, don't drop it." And Zilly just was not paying attention during that day of TF2 101, and just completely threw away every opportunity they may have had. I even think this round, because now they're looking at, unless they are able to convert some picks on their dry push, they're looking at not having Uber potentially until almost no time left to use it. And especially if Zilly goes down again to Marmalou. And now from here, FROYOBLACK can actually just back up if they want to, protect Shay. He's got 2 scouts around him, and Corsa does take out Laz, and then high five and Flemish dies to Yomps. Swift is doing a pretty good job of getting onto Shade, but not doing a very good job of killing him.
There it is, the scissor kicks from the scouts, keeping a tight rein on Shade, not letting him take any damage from Bob Mode, who is on the respawn. The rest of Swift are now in a desperation attempt, coming up to this cliff. They do spot out Badonsky, who was almost caught out. Gonna take a little bit more extra chip shots, but he's feeling comfortable. FROYOBLACK leading this Uber with 2 scouts as they're snaking their way across this cliff. Oh, and there goes Yomps. That's going to be good, but not with all of the rest of the Swift players falling down. And Corsa picks up his 7th kill. I think FROYOBLACK has secured this round for sure. Not even a single cap for Swift.
We're seeing a tale of 2 Swifts here, as you know, their command of last round, where they seem to have FROYOBLACK's number, was extraordinary. But then we see a round where they don't even cap the point for 1 second. They're gonna have to bring it together here as we go into the final round of this half. 2-2. Let's see what Swift can do.
Garbuglio and Marmalou following up with Yomps in the main area. High five, and the rest of them are scissoring these players, pincering them from all angles and not allowing any shenanigans. Laz managed to kill himself, which feels bad, man. But Corson is now making his way to the... Picks up his 3rd frag. He's looped back and forth, got the pistol out. A pipe cleans up Delpo, and can Zilly make the escape? He does manage to avoid any cutoff. No players were overextended to get that frag, so Zilly will be up and ready, but it's gonna get really close as we approach this fight.
Yeah, this is actually not a terrible position here for Swift. They do have the spawn advantage. They're going to trade Ubers 1 for 1 here. It's going to be it is going to be a double Uber for both teams, and Yomps picks up the first kill, but Botmode trades it off pretty quickly. And the position for FROYOBLACK isn't great here. They're being pushed out, and it looks like Swift is going to be able to take the point if they're able to continue the pressure. FROYOBLACK started to push up cliffside, but immediately removed by the explosion classes of Swift.
Swift now sitting very perched and very comfortable all over this point right now. FROYOBLACK trying to initiate first with Marmalou, lands into the ground and dies. Follow-up from Garbuglio, tries to create a little bit of room here on the connector. Shade and the rest of the guys are pushing forward here. Garbuglio on top of China could be a disaster, but Swift are aware of it. He does back off just for a moment. The cap goes back into FROYOBLACK's hand, but Swift are ready to come back in at any moment here. The Ubers are teetering near the edge of a disaster. Not a disaster, an explosion, a reaction. A boom.
Yeah, and it looks like FROYOBLACK is ready to accept the aggression of Swift here. The Uber gets popped off first for Swift, and then immediately followed by FROYOBLACK. They are just pushed back essentially immediately, but Laz fighting Yom and winning in the back line may signal a push forward of aggression from Swift here. And it looks like they're trying to, but Delpo's the only person on the point at first. And trading in one at a time and not doing a whole lot with their deaths. Finally, some trades go out. Delpo picking up a nice on the Corsa. And it's ooh, Zilly almost dying there, but now it's 6v3. It looks like they may be able to recap here and keep their players up. It's going to be super important for everybody on Swift to stay alive, get their heals, and not bleed into FROYOTech. And that's exactly what they do. Grab the point, don't send anybody back. And we're back in a position here where Swift has the Uber advantage, and if they just accept this aggression from Froyo, make them overstep, and then push forward all as one team, they may be able to just do that.
Yeah, Shade only at 66%. They're getting aggressive here. Marm trying to get a little bit of a bomb, not really working out in the best of his interests. Zilly managed to get forced here by Yamps, who pulled a lot of players back. The Uber did absolutely nothing, so an excellent force coming out. Garbuglio getting the better hand over Laz over in the connector here. Bombo going to have to retreat for the moment. Swift are now crumbling once again. The aggression from Badonsky is so strong. Of course, peeking around the corner, the soldiers are going to be raining hellfire. Thankfully, high five, though, not going to let any more damage come to Sweet Zilly's neck. And the rest
but
of
Shade
Laz.
still has Uber. When they forced Zilly, and then Shade said he's Audi like a German car company, and just stayed alive and kept not having to pop Uber. 100% down, and now Zilly is starting to climb back up, 70% now. But the forward hold from FROYOBLACK has been a big thorn in the side this entire game. They are on the positive side of the clock, so they can afford to take some dirty fights here. Shade does have to pop Uber, kind of an awkward position to do that in. And now Zilly's got Uber, but the aggression's got to come soon, and it's got to come hard if Swift wants to have a chance at taking this round. And here it comes. Laz gets dropped in the Uber exchange, but double scout chariot Uber comes forward. FROYOBLACK is nowhere to be found until the Uber is over, and then the re-engage. Here it comes. But again, no real big trades here. Swift does back out, accepts the aggression once more, but the health is so bad for Swift that there's no way they can push.
And Yamps, who was behind, able to pick up another frag onto Delpo with Corsa, who kept the aggression on the front line. Laz overextends here on the connector, does manage to pull back just in time, but with 10 seconds left, bot mode or someone has to initiate, and Garbuglio has on it, not going to allow any openings whatsoever. Laz now back to full health, the bubble bomb comes in. He gets dumpstered by a nice fadeaway rocket from Marmaloo, and the Uber gets popped up on the point. FROYOBLACK secure the round with no cap time nabbed from any part of Swift on that push.
3-2 going into the half. So, this is simultaneously exciting and disappointing. I'm super excited that there are two teams at top level invite who are this close, but I'm a little disappointed because I'm not sure I see anything here that to me screams Froyo killer.
Well, let's not focus on the future. You know, we're all always hoping for the future, of course, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with how insane of a game this was to start with. And I just want to point out, there are two people out damaging Badonsky in the server right now.
Yeah, I feel like Badonsky has been kind of pushed around a little bit, which is
that wasn't a burn on Badonsky. He's still breaking 10k damage.
Yeah,
it's just Corsa and Yamps have also broken 10k damage, and 39 frags in the hands of Corsa, 36 in the hands of Yamps.
Yeah, the scout work has been what kind of happened there is, I would say probably about midway through the third round or so, FROYOBLACK rediscovered 2012 TF2, and they thought to themselves, what if we just buff both of our scouts and go have them kill everybody? And that's exactly what happened. FROYOBLACK gave Corsa and Yamps basically all of the heals they could, and as soon as the bombs came in, they pushed forward and were just cleaning up. 39 and 36, that's an incredible number of kills.
Yeah. It's practically half in the server. It's almost half for their team, actually. It is actually, in fact, half their team. That's 75 frags. I did the math. And their total team has 146 frags, which means they're doing 4 more frags than half. That's 52%, roughly. In the hands of 2 scouts.
I do think on a map like Viaduct, I think it's possible that a team like FROYOBLACK, with their style, their holding back and then their metered aggression and their cohesiveness, could beat a team like FROYOTech, who cannot rely on DM alone to beat a team like FROYOBLACK. But I don't see the cohesion necessary for a CP map. We'll see as the season goes on. Our second half is live. FROYOBLACK on match point. Swift needs just 2 to win.
Just 2. Such a tall order, as right away, Yamps rushes in, following closely to Garbuglio's bomb in the back line. Fundish a little bit too much to handle right now. No support whatsoever. Meanwhile, Laz does manage to get cleaned up here by Corsa in the main. Delta also left to dry. It looks like Swift are in a desperate attempt to get out of here, but the follow-up bomb from Marm is looking out for Zilly. Finally, Slemnish does save a life, and they will pull their way back. No Uber disadvantage. They have something to work with here as they push back in. The spawn wave's going to be a little weak for Marmaloo, but not before they wait for the spawns from Swift.
Shade has crit streak, and Zilly has Uber. So, like, I'm not saying crit streak is bad. Oh, they do pop the crit, aren't able to get anything with it. Of course, it does pick off flat. The Uber comes forward, Delpo pushing forward, killing Shade. Now it's just up to Swift to keep Zilly alive and keep enough players alive to cap the point. Doing good on count 1, not so good on count 2. High Five and Slemnish getting forward, probably looking at an indictment on double murder. Finally, High Five does get taken out by Marmaloo. But the good aggression there from Swift, having the Uber when Shade had crits, never a great situation to be in, and they just used that to their advantage.
I do hope console knows that our overlay needs to be situated correctly. As we're looking at FROYOBLACK getting back into the swing of things on the left side of the cliff. They've walked up, taking a little bit of ground here. Bomb from Marmaloo immediately gets mulched before he can land. Yamps gets juggled into the air there. Might get cleaned up here, does, by Slemnish, who's now making his way over to Garbuglio. A second frag, and a follow-up from Laz from behind, who was out of nowhere. Has to waste 3 rockets just to get Shade down into the red bar, and still doesn't die. He does manage to pick up the health pack and make his escape out the right side. Swift clean house on Badonsky and hold this point before it gets capped off.
You know, I'm always thinking Shade is committing on these fights, and then he like pulls out his inner Michael Jackson and just moonwalks straight out, taking almost no damage. I'm not sure how he does it, but it is a sight to behold. Stays alive, and now he's rounding out at 100% Uber. It's gonna be an Uber v Uber fight over the fate of mid here. It's going to come down to, can Swift keep enough players alive and not get those long respawns? And if anybody drops. Swift does have to pop first, gets right onto the combo of FROYOBLACK, who does pop in counter. High Five is the first death here as Yamp picks him up, and now Swift is on the back foot trying to back up here, but the combo gets caught out. Delpo and Zilly going down basically immediately. You see a little bit of counter aggression from Swift trying to get Shade. Does end up happening as Slemnish picks up that kill, but a full wipe from Swift means FROYOBLACK just takes the point.
This should work out in their favor, though. Big spawn wave timer for Garbuglio. The heals are already in the hand of Swift as they're making their way to the point here. Marmaloo just taking some pot shots with the spam rockets, the long range. We'll be meeting up with the rest of the FROYOBLACK company, making their way to the point now as Marmaloo. Big bomb puts out a lot of damage into the enemy team, and Yamps trying to get some extra shots in there, gets him cleaned up as well. Of course, also keeping up the aggression with the pistol, but won't be able to make anything happen there. FROYOBLACK are now at an end of the line for the rest of their attempts. Their efforts have gone in vain. As,
and
Swift
Shade
immediately retakes.
Shade unable to moonwalk out, instead MC Hammer slides directly into a Wrangler rocket, dying and not putting his team in a very good position here. Swift has 90% Uber, is holding the point, only dropped Delpo. That's a long respawn time, but Gomps is also 4 seconds away from being up, so it's going to be okay. They do have to pop Uber. Zilly pushing forward with the scout, trying to find a kill, does find Shade, excellent pickoff. If Zilly can get out here, I like the position for Swift for the rest of this round.
Yeah, Garbuglio very low health here, tries to initiate from a reasonable distance. Might get cleaned up here if he's not careful. He's desperate. Does manage to make the escape. Oh, the chip shot was so close! And they're going to immediately start getting the cap time off immediately into the face of FROYOBLACK. They're getting some arrows up. Garbuglio is saved, but will get cleaned up here by the stickies waiting for him at his feet. Botmo jumps forward, gets bombed into the cliffside, throws off 1 extra rocket there into Marmaloo's face. Swift retakes almost instantaneously, and they're down to 20 seconds left to cap this off. Shade is nowhere near that Uber, and Zilly is definitely going to be in a position to defend here. With Uber ready, 10 seconds on the clock, 15 seconds. I think Swift might be able to pull this one out.
Yeah, and even if they do have to give this up, they are going to pop. They are going to try to fight here. They are kind of low on health. Even if they do have to give this up, they have a whole minute and a half to keep trying. But let's see how this rolls out here. Shade does not quite die. He's almost at Uber. 88% does get picked up by High Five, but a lot of players have died from Swift NA, and the point is going back and forth. See if bot mode can try to do something, is actually going to back out. This is all perfectly fine from Swift. They have their medic first. FROYOBLACK's Shade is still 2 seconds away from spawning, so it's going to be relatively even Ubers, but they can just take dry fights all day long, knowing that FROYOBLACK has a much longer respawn. And it looks like that's what they're going to do here. They have a minute to work with. They're pushing forward. Delpo does pick up the kill on Garbuglio bot mode, trading in response.
And Marmalou also keeping up the pressure here, but the Delpo stickies have managed to pick up a couple players. Slemnish gets taken down here by Corsa, who's trying to navigate his way around this point. Does get cleaned up. Shade being pushed back and bullied by these great sticky pipe Cowmangler shots, also just juggling poor Badonsky. And that's going to be a 3-3. This is match point. Either side will win. And I don't know.
Swift is not allowing FROYOBLACK to play the game they want to play. And I want to see them keep trying to do that. FROYOBLACK wants to hold back and not overcommit, but they keep being baited into these awful, awful fights and bleeding players. If Swift can continue doing that, they're in for a good shot here. Garbuglio gets Skybox and killed almost immediately by Slemnish. The counter aggression comes in basically immediately from Swift. Very, very low health from FROYOBLACK and no medics on either side. This could be anybody's mid here. High-Five being a nuisance in the background, trying to get the Demo Man, unable to convert the pick. But he has been just enough of a nuisance that it looks like Swift is going to be able to take the mid. Oh, but here comes the entire rest of the team from FROYOBLACK, only down one and able to get in position to spam essentially immediately and taking a really good position on top of the point. Shade managed to take no damage from the bot mode bomb.
But Laz has his number as well, pulls it from the back lines and takes it in. I don't think he was going for Shade, the bot mode bomb. He was getting in the face of Badonsky for the majority of his rockets and just had a desperation shot left on Shade, which didn't connect. But Laz was the real man. It's the magic show, you know? You gotta have the smoke and mirrors on the side from bot mode, and then bam, Laz pops out of the ground and pulls a rabbit out of Shade's ass.
They dropped 15 seconds to FROYOBLACK, but now they are on the aggression once again. Zilly has 100% Uber. Shade is still only rounding 40%. They do have to get popped off here. They want to try to find Shade, who is out. Oh, but he might get caught in here as the players from Swift push into the spawn, end up picking up his High-Five with a double kill onto Shade and Garbuglio. Now they're going to return to the fight, and Zilly this entire time has lived Delpo, protecting him from Yomps. That was an excellent push forward from Swift, an excellent burst of aggression, killing Shade, killing Garbuglio, and then trading out the rest of the players.
Right now, FROYOBLACK not feeling as comfortable as they were before. Usually we saw them constantly keeping up the aggression, just taking the heels and running with it. Now they're playing a little more reserved. They're sitting on their China, on their battlements, keeping an eye out for it. Marmalou going to initiate with a cliff bomb. Going to take a lot of damage before reinitiating, reconvening onto this China. Does get cleaned up here, but Garbuglio has managed to find a little bit of a piece of this. Ooh, an air shot does not connect, but he reaches around. He lands on the pack, finally gets cleaned up here. Very low health on Zilly, who's going to be healing up the rest of his teammates. Pistol from Corsa is just too strong, and now he's dancing around at bot mode. Picks up an arrow and survives. Slemnish also staying alive, going to be meeting up onto the point. They didn't even finish the cap. FROYOBLACK now losing time and are in a desperate attempt to make something happen here. Shade, no Uber to speak of, and Zilly, 100%.
Zilly just channeling some old school European medics there. Almost dying multiple times, but able always to stay just barely alive while keeping the aggression. Swift picks up another 2 kills from Garbuglio and Marmalou, who is probably just trying to get in there on Zilly, trying to convert the pick. It's really going to be up to FROYOBLACK to try to put something together here. They are down a minute and a half now, only a minute and 7 seconds remaining for Swift's timer.
Garbuglio makes his way through the entrance of main. The rest of FROYOBLACK are following suit up to the point. It's not looking like there are many opportunities to push in. Marmalou's just walking forward. We do see Garbuglio just meeting up at the connector. No bombs being initiated. No follow-up. Finally, Marmalou sets the tone. The Uber gets popped off. FROYOBLACK are chasing deep. Zilly is backing out. I had my Uber percentages backwards, I think, for just a moment. But Swift had their Uber ready to roll in just a moment. But only bot mode alive, it's not going to happen. He's just going to go for one desperate attempt and gets Shade with one last rocket. Shade was down to half health. Someone called it out for him and bot mode cleans it up. That's going to be huge for this repush. No heals to speak of, a full Uber. I don't see how Swift loses this push.
I don't either. And honestly, like, I was liking the position Swift was in before bot mode made that pick, but after bot mode made that pick, I think it's almost unwinnable for FROYOBLACK. It's going to come down to this last 30 seconds. If Swift can manage to keep up enough players after this push, they will have the round. They drop 5-5 immediately, not a great, but pick up the trade here on Slemish and will have the short timer. The Uber was forced out, but they're going to be able to cap the point, only having lost 2. They do make high 5 have to wait the extra 6 seconds for respawn. Bot mode another 5 on the clock. But the players are even as FROYOBLACK tries to push forward. Badonsky taking some ground, having to back up basically immediately, trying to meet up with Shade, who is half health and able to be spammed out if a player can get onto him.
Very low health. Laz is in position, clearing out the connector. Does make his target, goes right in there. First rocket connects with Shade. Second one cleans it out. No medic to speak of. Zilly now on the retreat here, but not going to make his way out here. Oh, he does manage to surf. 1 rocket, 2 rocket. He's around the corner. It's so low. He hits the arrow, but he had enough health to tank that hit, and Marmalou picks up the frag very late into Zilly's lifespan. So now he's going to be respawning much later than he would like. Obviously, he wouldn't want to be respawning, period. But Swift now in a bit of a tricky situation. Ubers are even though, so it just comes down to, can Swift orchestrate an adequate push?
Yeah, they still have a minute and a half left to go. That's 2 full Uber charges. Let's see what they can try to pull out here. Marmalou goes down immediately to bot mode. Here comes the back bomb in. Come back on in from Laz. I'm not sure they've seen him. Laz coming in right now in on the combo. Unable to make much happen. Just going to spam from Cliff. Now, a lot of spam coming down on FROYOBLACK, but a lot of spam being returned. And it looks like it is Swift that is going to have to back out with the aggression here from Garbuglio.
Garbuglio going down, though. Going to open up an opportunity. Laz getting taken down on the cliffside by Corsa. Swift are now in a desperate attempt to make some aggression here. There's definitely enough time left, a minute on the clock, to make one push happen. They have their Uber now, but the double pipe from Badonsky takes down the scouts. So now Delpo kind of gets abandoned there. No longer flashed by that Uber, and the aggression for FROYOBLACK is so strong right now, pulling all these players left and right. Zilly gets taken down here, and Swift losing a lot of their other key players here. Bot mode throws a couple rockets out before falling to his death in the hands of Yamps. And Swift now have to pull out one final push. Heals. They have to go Iron Man it. None of this Uber crap, you know, it's all about playing your best DM.
2 minutes ago I was ready to call it, but here comes the Swift. Push in, Laz gets taken out immediately. A ton of damage onto FROYOBLACK's combo. Going to be not capitalized on by the scouts of Swift. Tons of damage now on both sides. Let's see who can manage to squeeze forward. It's 0 seconds on the clock. Whoever wins this fight will win the game. High 5 takes out Marmalou. And, finally, a lot of damage being done onto FROYOBLACK. And Swift is able to finally take out that point. But, oh my god, could that have possibly been a closer game? 4-3 with 0-0 left on the clock.
Oh man, that was so good. I can't believe it, dude. Swift was just in such control on that point. It was looking a little sketchy, but Delpo was just pulling out the fat damage, and the scouts were just comfortably capping it off there. That was absolutely insane stuff from Swift. They lost a round without taking a single second, and somehow it came down to a 4-3 double overtime. Oh man, that felt so good to see. This is going to be insane for a season if that's the kind of stuff we're going to be seeing on a Viaduct match.
I don't like to extrapolate too much from Viaduct matches because the difference in a Viaduct game versus a 5CP game is pretty massive. But I think we can take away 2 lessons from this game. One, Swift is looking in incredible shape. And I'm not saying that purely because they won, because that was a much closer game than I think it needed to be at some points in time, but because they were able to, mid-game, change up their tactics, change up their strategy, reorganize, and put forth a really good effort to take out FROYOBLACK. And it ended up coming down to the very final last milliseconds of the game. But the dynamic play, the ability to recognize our aggression isn't working, let's just play FROYOBLACK's game, but play it better, is a really bold move for them to make, and it paid out really well. And that's the kind of that's the kind of thought process that's going to make them successful this season, even maybe against the likes of FROYOBLACK. The other thing I think we can learn is that we need way more cough maps in the rotation. If this did not turn you into a cough map fanatic, then I don't know what will.
Throwing in that nice map makers propaganda there. I like it. I like it.
Just I routinely I like 5CP. I love this game, but routinely I feel that the non 5CP game modes are more exciting to cap. I think Gravel Pit was really fun to watch when the games were
Oh,
good.
man.
I think that Viaduct has always provided excellent game consistently season after season, and I want to see some more. That being said, I think the performance from both teams was very, very good here tonight. We have the stats up on screen now. We do see that Corsa and Yamps were able to get 61 and 52 frags respectively, and even the 52 from Yamps beats out the highest from Swift on 51. I think what we're seeing here is that the frag count is less important necessarily than the strategy, and Swift had some really good strategic moments.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When you look at those stats, you're thinking, how the heck did Swift just win? You know,
I,
but that one difference. If you want to be very analytical about these stats, that one round was probably the 3-0. I say 3-0 as in 3 minutes to 0 minutes that FROYOBLACK pulled out. That's the frag differential you see there. That's the damage differential you see there.
Possibly, but I think what you see there is that FROYOBLACK was consistently able to convert the frags on players that were bombing or trying to get out, but weren't absolutely essential. It was okay for Swift to bleed those players there. Where I think Swift's frags come from, and especially I saw a lot of this out of I5, who was consistently in the correct position to capitalize when it was needed to be done. We saw Swift able to convert frags, especially onto Shade and Badonsky, when it was the worst possible time to bleed a player. And so that's I think why Swift was able to pull this game out from essentially clutch victory from the hands of defeat. It was not looking great for them coming into the second. 2 rounds against FROYOBLACK, and I don't think they put together 2 rounds in a row during the first half. That's a pretty tall order. But the strategic outplay, the accepting of aggression from FROYOBLACK, when that's all FROYOBLACK wanted to do was to play back a little bit and let Swift play into them. I think that FROYOBLACK consistently lost their cool and lost their nerve much faster than Swift did, and Swift was able to capitalize. And if you're gonna bomb into high five, then you're just going to die.
Yeah, I got a sense of that. The I guess you could say lack of nerve. Like for example, like I remember it vividly. I don't know what part of the match it was, or if Swift was the one who won the round, but I remember Shade was near the cliffside. You know, it's underneath, and he dropped his players as they were getting pushed into. He dropped one or two players, and then finally popped before they pushed back in. And so it's those kind of things where you just don't have that resolve to make the right decision where it counts. It could spiral out of control and cost you seconds, couple spawn waves, a whole round. Those kind of things can happen in little places in a Viaduct match, and those are going to be the differentials you see.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the 3 drops from Zilly. At
Right?
least 2 of them that I remember came at pivotal moments, and I think that this game would not have been a 4-3 coming in at the last second had those drops not happened. Um, but it's hard to criticize a medic for their Viaduct play. This is probably the hardest medic map in the game, and you
Unless you're
constantly are
Hardblue.
fighting. Unless you're Hardblue, but Hardblue is just the best medic ever to have played this game. So, but I do think that part of the reason Zilly died a lot. I mean, 20 deaths is a lot of deaths. 24 on Shay, that's also a significant amount. The reason that the medics were dying a lot, and the reason that there's a lot of drops, is that there was a lot of holding, there was a lot of milking, and there was a lot of aggressive medic play, which to me signals a really good shift in attitude towards your combo that might prove to be very, very useful when facing off against the other teams this season.
I think one of the other key facts here is the fact that Marmalou, and you felt it the whole match, but Marmalou with 11 frags on Azili, that's over half the frags, were in his precious little paws, you know? He was constantly in control of those frags. And really, if you can get those advantages, those frags, pull up the big bombs, come in, sneak out Zilly with 2 frags, 2 rockets, and the
Yeah,
rest of your team can't capitalize on that, or just you bleed too many players in the process, that's obviously not a good result.
yeah. Basically, every time Zilly tried to push in through lower, lower, Marmalou would do this little skip jump across the point and land directly on his head. And if you have Marmalou that close to you, you're just dead as medic. It's you're there's nothing that can save you at that point in time. And we saw that consistently. And Zilly stopped going that direction, so Marmalou got his point across.
Also, one thing I noticed was I think Shade had a lot of, I don't want to say poor, but just unoptimal post Uber exchanges where after the Uber is exchanged, he did not make it out alive. Because one of the frags I see as well is Delpo pulled out 6 of his own, and I know one of them was from a really sick 2-pipe, or maybe it was just the 1-pipe and Shade was low. But I just remember Delpo on occasion would take a little bit of that Uber in the post exchange and then just catch Shade on his way out.
I think Shade realizes, and this is kind of a universal truth, if you are going to commit with Uber on Viaduct, whether you live or die is entirely up to how many kills your team gets. And so playing on the back foot and defensively as a medic on a Viaduct Uber v Uber fight over point is going to put your team at a disadvantage. I do think Shade's strategy was better in that he was able to put up the heals, be aggressive on point, and try to help his team win there. It didn't end up working out for him, but I don't necessarily think that was a mistake in Shade's play.
For sure, no, not at all. It's just you wanna hope that there's a potential for you to make an escape or to read the room just right and do what's best for your team, whether that is to commit or to find your escape route or make a clean enough escape. But like you said, if you don't have the frags in your favor, you just gotta full commit, hope that something else can come from it. Lead a player
Right.
in and hope that something good comes of it, right?
Right, and that calculus is unique to Viaduct, I think. Um, in most other 5CP maps, the situations in which hard committing as medic and then dying mid Uber fight, or not mid Uber fight because you're invulnerable, but just in the transition period immediately after the fight is generally not a good thing.
Yeah,
Um,
in 5CP you can salvage. You know,
right,
you lose a point, maybe 2 points even, but getting your medic out is better than not getting your medic out and then losing 3 points, or in some cases 4 points.
exactly. So I think we should wrap it up here. Is there any final thoughts you have for
Nope, I think we
Thursday?
covered a
Oh,
lot of things.
we
It's
did.
Viaduct. That was an insane match. I'm still a little weary from the ultimate collapse at the end there. FROYOBLACK looked like they had the advantage. I think they had 1 or 2 frags in their favor at the start, but then just immediately, all of a sudden, there were 2 scouts and a Delpo on the point, and Shade was the only one alive. And I was like, wait, what?
I
So
would like
just
to see
insane stuff.
I would like to see two things. I'd like to see one, what these teams can do against Froyotech this season, and two, I'm hoping that these teams plus Froyotech plus any of the other really good teams this season stay together and meet up at definitely not Rewind 3.
Definitely a future LAN within the next 4 months, which has a set date. Nothing like that, though. Absolutely not. No. Shh,
Well, I was
no.
saying definitely not.
Oh,
I think it's been announced.
it has been announced. It
Yeah, yeah.
was January 20 something.
You may be concerned that I just leaked something.
No, you weren't leaking
Okay.
anything. I was
You
just
just
playing along with you pretending that you were leaking something, but
the
you
word
weren't.
rewind is copyrighted. The
Yeah,
company
no,
that is
it's
running it.
just the
Yeah,
3. All we know
just
is
3,
a 3-line event is happening in the middle of January.
and everybody who's listening right now should go.
Yes. If we
Oakland,
see
California.
a trend, if the current teams follow the trend we're seeing, where Black beats Froyo, Froyo beats Swift, Swift beats Black, That would be and potentially a mix in between, where they go the other direction, or Froyo Black beats Swift. We see all these things. I want to see if we can have a back and forth invite season. And it all
I
comes down with what we see in the rest of the as we continue forward.
I think we just might, but I think that will wrap it up for us tonight. Ro, it was a pleasure. Console, as always, the excellent camera work. I'm sorry that Node crashed on you, but this has been Froyo Black versus Swift on CP Viaduct, ESEA Week 1. Have a good night.